Alright, so we're talking about functions here, and the first thing that we need to remember, and you've seen this before, is being able to identify whether a certain relationship is in fact a function or not. So let me draw two representations here. Okay. Here's one, and here's another. Right? And there are four major rules that we look for, but the one that matters most is the following. Does each value of x have one and only one y? Does each input value x have one and only one output? Well, look at -2 as our x. It only has one output, 5. -1 as our input x, only has one output, it's 5. It does not matter that both -2 and -1 both have an output of 5. That's fine. That's nothing wrong with that. 0 has 6, 1 has 7, and 2 has 8. This is a function, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, this is okay. Over here, though, we have a case where 0 has an output 4. That's fine. But the x value 1 has an output of 5 and it has an output of 6, and that is not good. That is a violation. This is not a function, okay, for that reason. So when you see these tables or something where you're given xy coordinates and there's a particular value of x that has more than one output y associated with it, it's not a function. The other thing you can do is the vertical line test. Okay, if you had a function that looked like this, all right, if you run a vertical line through the function, if that vertical line hits the graph at one point and only one point, it is a function. This would be a function. But if that vertical line crosses the graph at more than one point, like 2 points, what that means is this value of x right here, let's say this is 4, has the answer y or output y right here, and a second one here. This is this case right here. There's a single x that has two y. So if it fails the vertical line test, which this does, it's not a function. Okay, so you can do it with this. You can also graph it on your calculator and show it there. Okay. We can also, I can give you something like this and say, is x squared minus y squared equals 16 a function? Okay, now in this case, okay, if you solve for y, you would get y squared equals x squared minus 16, y equals plus or minus the square root of x minus 16. And you'd say, no, this is not a function. The reason is because for each value of x, you're going to have a plus answer and a minus answer because it's plus or minus. So typically when you see a y squared in the equation, it is not a function. Because in order to isolate the y, you're going to have to take the square root of both sides. To go from y squared to y, you're going to take square root. When you take square root, you have a plus or minus answer. So in this case, it's not a function. Y minus 4x squared equals 36. Well, that's y equals 36 plus 4x squared. This is a function. Okay, no matter what value of x I put in, whether it be negative or positive, I'm only going to get one y. So it's a function. If you weren't sure, graph this and look to see if it passes the vertical line test. Okay, another tricky one might be the absolute value of y equals 4 minus x. Well, for each value of x, in this case, I can get two values of y, because y, whether it's, my output is negative or positive, because I'm taking the absolute value, I get two answers. This is not a function. Okay, so it's important that you are able to understand these, function or not, understand the vertical line test, and be able to look at equations of relationships like this and determine whether or not the equation represents y as a function of x or it's a function. And if you can do those three things, you're well on your way. Good luck.